The real cost of owning a private island. Have you ever dreamt of having your own private island? We won't really believe you if you tell us that you haven't even planned literally everything in your childhood, including who could have the access, what the lawns would be, what the weather would look like, and so on. Well, not all of these things can come true, but you can truly unplug and get away from the crowds anytime you want. But what's the real cost of owning a private island? Let's see. Forget the latest designer handbag, a limited edition supercar, or custom diamond jewelry. Owning a private island is the ultimate status symbol. The idea of owning a private island can sound like a dream come true. But at the same time, there are many factors that have to be considered beyond the obvious financial commitment. So is being a private island owner worth it? And how much does a private island cost? This really is the ultimate million-dollar or multi-million-dollar question. The cost of purchasing an island, securing the proper licenses, ordering raw materials, and then constructing a home is obviously a lot of money. Private islands can really range in price based on location, size, and how much development already exists on the island. Of course, any inhabited island, with accommodation, electricity, and running water, will typically start in the millions of dollars. So while some basic options are attainable to make them habitable, being a millionaire or winner of one of the biggest lottery jackpots might be necessary to foot the bill for investment. Okay, let's get this out of the way first. Buying a private island isn't cheap, affordable, or fairly practical. No matter what, you're going to have to be fairly well off to afford one. But you don't have to be a multi-millionaire hedge fund owner to buy one. Of course, islands that are for sale in places like the Bahamas or the Maldives are going to be extremely expensive. But if we look elsewhere for islands and broaden our horizons, you'd be surprised as to how cheap they actually are. If you don't mind making a sacrifice when it comes to location, the private island market is filled with great options. There are plenty of islands for sale in places like New England, Central America, Scotland, Canada, and Sweden that are actually very affordable, quite remote, and very charming. You will find the best prices for private islands in areas where the market is saturated with islands that are for sale. Everyone wants a private island in the Caribbean, but not as many people want a private island in Maine. Believe it or not, there are actually lots of private islands for sale that are under $100,000. While they aren't tropical paradises, these islands are still beautiful, and most importantly, they are fairly affordable given the fact that they are private islands. So once you've got your budget private island, all that's left is building a home on it. Depending on what you want in a home, the price can range greatly, but if you were to construct a small but luxurious 2-bedroom getaway, well, that wouldn't break the bank at all. Buying an island for private use is similar to buying an expensive house, says John Christie, who, as chief executive of Bahamas agency H.G. Christie, sells islands all day every day. If you plan to make your island a commercial proposition, however, things can get more complicated. In the Bahamas, commercial buyers need approval from the government's investment authority. Christie estimates that 80% of buyers in the Bahamas are purchasing for family use, which helps them navigate the process quicker. Once the approval is granted, he says, some do edge towards money-making schemes. When shopping for a private island, some of the questions to ask the broker include how large the island is, what the weather's like, and whether there's some way to get groceries, use electricity and sewage, and build a home. You'll also need to know how best to get to the island from the mainland, how you'll get provisions over if any dwellings or structures exist on the island, whether you'll have access to utilities, and what will be involved with building there. Further, it's critical to understand the terms of the sale, since some key variations are depending on the location. For islands in the United States, Canada, and the Caribbean, sales are often freehold islands, which means that the terms are outright and you own the island fully upon the terms of the agreement. In Asia and the Southern Pacific areas, island sales are typically set up as long-term leases rather than outright sales. This means you have possession for an established period of time, but don't actually own the island. This is an important distinction and also tends to come with more restrictions on developing the land, so you'll need to know the specifics up front. In addition to the actual cost of buying an island, there are many related expenses, such as buying a boat, building a dock, meeting regulations required for sewer, electricity, and other utilities, and getting building permits. It's also important to know that most island deals are cash transactions, since banks typically won't give a mortgage on an island purchase. In addition, everything you need on an island will be much more expensive than buying it on the mainland, since you will have to have it transported. So island ownership is not for someone living on a tight budget. Islands typically have their own ecosystems, and in many locations, you'll need an environmental impact study before you can even begin to think about development. In the Bahamas, where private islands do a lot of business, That's likely to cost a cool $50,000 or so, Crollo says. And in Ontario, an island you buy has to be a minimum of 1 acre in the area, or you won't get a permit to build on it. And there's also the possibility that someone else will claim it's their island, not yours. Every once in a while, there may be someone contesting a deed on the basis of squatter rights. It's happened in the past in Central America, and that's caused the deal to fall through, says Chris Crollo, the CEO of Private Islands, a Toronto-based company that sells 20 to 25 islands a year through its website, newsletter, and magazine, Private Islands. And what if someone demands to use the beach on your island? A couple who bought Dobbins Island, in the mouth of Maryland's Magothy River in 2003, found themselves embroiled in a years-long battle with boaters and environmentalists over public access and development on the 7-acre island. The legal fight is still not over. Actually, while it generally costs a lot more to purchase an island that already has a home, or homes on it, at least you will know what you are getting into and won't be as apt to incur unexpected costs. So in the long run, spending more money up front can actually be a more cost-effective option. Just realize that if you don't plan to live there year-round, you may need to hire a caretaker to stay on and take care of things in your absence. Just keep in mind that if you do decide to go for an undeveloped island, experts point out that this can typically cost about 1.5 to 2 times more to build on an island than you would pay on the coast or further inland. Of course, if you can't afford the price tag for such an extravagant island, you'll likely be able to handle the building expenses. But if you have a smaller island you want to use for you and your closest families and friends, and your budget is indeed tight, a feasible way around this challenge is to opt for a prefab house. For a cost of about $20,000 per structure, this can be a cost-effective solution to turn your island into your home. And you should definitely make sure to research some of the finer points, such as how buildable the land is, how difficult it will be to get actual building permits, and whether you will be able to add water and utilities easily. In addition, if your plan is to construct a large-scale resort, you will want to investigate how feasible the details will be. Well, whatever you decide to spend and wherever you decide to spend it, just keep in mind that the choices will continue to dwindle over the years. And as availability lessens, the prices continue to grow, so if you want to own your own island someday soon, don't wait too long or you may miss your chance. Real estate experts also point out that an island with large potential that is close to the mainland is likely a good investment bet, while a more remote island can be risky since you don't know how much you will need to spend on development. And there may not be enough demand to get your money back on it. But if profit isn't your goal and you just want a place where you can escape to get away from it all, then don't be afraid to fall in love with a tiny and remote slice of paradise off the beaten path. So what do you think? Are you saving money to buy your own private island? Let us know in the comments down below. Make sure you subscribe to our channel and turn on your post notifications, so you never miss a video from us. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. See you in the next video. Thanks for watching!